What's going on, golf addicts? I'm DB. This is Tour Junkies After Dark, and I don't really know where Pat is. I asked him if he's going to adjust his light. He looked like the angel Gabriel was paying him a visit, but apparently, there we go. It's a little more regulated now. You're not glowing like freaking Casper the Friendly Ghost over there earlier. Not tonight, ladies. I'm only here to get drunk. I like that.
That's right, ladies. Sorry.
I'm sure you know what? If you're a lady and you watch this show, comment below. I would be very interested. We need
comments. Yeah, we need some comments.
I would be very interested to see how many ladies are watching Tour Junkies After Dark, presented by DraftKings. You're looking at the Tour Junkies right now. I am David, the handsome, better dressed one. That is Pat next to me with the weird shirt on, the kind of creeper dad shirt, if you will. Yeah. That's like a shirt that dads wear on vacation, I feel like. You're in Myrtle Beach at Margaritaville rocking that shirt.
This is probably
you are really
being
funny.
Worn at Margaritaville right now, maybe House of Blues in Myrtle Beach.
That's actually a good spot.
This shirt's on somebody. This is really not my kind of shirt, but I kind of liked it tonight. I was feeling it tonight.
It goes well.
We're back after a couple week hiatus, so
yeah. It goes really well with your second chin, I think. It goes really well with that. But we're not here to make fun of Pat. Well, I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to do that, Pat. I really don't.
Appreciate that.
We are here to talk about the Wells Fargo Championship. We just wrapped up the podcast. It was our 200th episode. We need to pat ourselves on the back for that, Pat. We have done 200 podcast episodes in almost 4 years. It's been a wild ride. And I have to say, it was a pretty crisp episode, is the word I would use to define it. It was crisp.
Very opposite from the first.
Very opposite from the first. And probably the first 150 or 60 or 70 or so.
20, 30, 40.
Yeah. But anyway, there was a fair amount of agreement, Pat. And this show is all about, we come off the podcast and we need to disagree on some stuff. We need to battle it out, And we're going to do that because I do have a couple that I don't really like that you picked. And then we're going to button it up and talk about some DraftKings sportsbook plays that we like. We're on a little bit of a heater with those. We have been for a while. I've been giving you some good picks on the DraftKings sportsbook. If you can't take advantage of that, I hate it for you. So let's get into it, Pat. We look at the Wells Fargo Championship, the Quail Hollow in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a par 71. It's a long golf course, 7,500, some change is the length. It is a tough course. We both like guys who can gain strokes off the tee. I like the bombers a little more than you do. You got to make your hay on the par 5s here at Quail Hollow. You got to hit your mid to long irons well. You got to be able to get up and down because you're going to miss a lot of greens. And these greens are very fast, very undulating. They're Bermuda grass. If you need more details, listen to the podcast. Pat will lay it out for you in his Just Here to Get Drunk shirt. That being said, you mentioned that you like Rickie Fowler. And, this was the site of his first PGA Tour victory. A few years back, and I remember that victory, and I also remember that the golf course, I think, was a little different. They really made this a big boy course in late 2016 in preparation to host the 2017 PGA Championship, a major, and I just think it's a different course. Now, not to say Rickie can't win on a long golf course, but statistically, right now, Rickie's not doing too well. He's 40th in the field in strokes gained on par 5s over the last 24 rounds. He's 59th in strokes gained around the green, which is really crazy because normally he's really good at that. For the third highest price guy, I think it's a value thing. I think Rickie makes the cut. I think Rickie can top 25. But I think what you need Rickie to do is top 5 to return value, especially in tournaments on DFS. So I have to disagree with the Rickie Fowler play. You okay? You okay?
Sorry, I had an itch on my foot there. It was a painful type itch. Look, here's the thing. You just mentioned top 5. When he played here when they played the PGA Championship in 2017. He had a top 5 finish, and it's a good course for him. I mean, he's definitely good off the tee. I think you look at the par 5 scoring stat actually that you mentioned is the one that concerns me probably the most. Outside of the scrambling, I think that's something that he can sort of fix. But what I really like is where he is as far as putting. I mean, these are tough greens to putt. They're very undulating. They're not like Augusta National, but they're very quick. They're the type greens where you got to have good feel on the greens when you get there. And you know what? He's third in the field right now over the last, I think 24, 36 rounds as far as putting is concerned. So I like where he's at there. You look at the other stats. He's hitting greens in regulation. I looked at good drives gained. I think that's a perfect stat for this week. One of those stats where, yes, I think it does factor in a little bit of driving accuracy, but also some distance in that if you're not hitting the fairway, but you're still hitting the greens, I like that as well. I just think Rickie Fowler at 10-6 is a great play this week. And I'm also sort of, when you look at strategy, I like studs and duds. I want to play as many of the studs up top as I possibly can. And when I'm doing that, Rickie fits the bill there. So that is another reason that I like him here. So, yeah, I think he's a great play this week. I'm all in. As a matter of fact, I think you can play him in cash games as well.
Oh, whatever. I mean, like I said, I think he's going to make the cut. I don't think he's going to miss the cut. But so if you want to play him in cash, I just think
but he's definitely, he can score and all that kind of stuff. But I want to go to a guy beneath him a little bit because I know you and I both kind of like some Justin Rose at 10-3. But Hideki at 10-1 concerns me a little bit. Look, here's a guy that when you're doing your research, this is what Hideki's going to show you. He's going to check all the boxes. He's right there. He's checking boxes left and right. True. Yeah, Hideki checking boxes. But you know what? I just don't know. He's not really contending all that much. I mean, I don't know where the scoring's at. He's kind of backdooring in top 10s and things like that. So I'm a little bit worried about Hideki at 10-1. I just don't like him. I don't think he's a great kind of staple play for me this week. And you know what? He always tends to burn you, especially as far as putting is concerned. So, and where is it? Let's check where he is in putting right now, by the way. I mean, I bet he's not even really probably that great in putting. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's usually not. Hideki like the putter, but...
Oh, wait, 120th in the field in strokes gained putting.
Yeah, well, that's the most variable statistic you could possibly look at. We talk about it every week. Hideki doesn't need to putt that great because he's so freaking good with the other 13 clubs in his bag. So, he's just elite when it comes to ball striking. Back door, front door, doesn't matter. He's getting through the door, and he's got some good finishes. He is backdooring it a little bit on the weekend. 32nd at the Masters. He kind of fell off on Sunday. 8th at the Players Championship. 9th at Genesis, which is held at Riviera, which I think is a very similar golf course to Augusta National and to Quail Hollow, the host site of this tournament here. 15th at the Waste Management, 3rd at the Farmers. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad year to me so far for Hideki. Doesn't sound like he's not contending. He's just contending very late in a few tournaments here and there. So you're not seeing him jump up the leaderboard on Thursday and Friday. But as you already mentioned and made my case for me, he does check a lot of boxes, not including putting. He hits the ball a long way. He gains strokes on par 5s. He's second in this field in strokes gained approach. He's hitting his ball he's 6th in the field in strokes gained around the green over the last 24 rounds. So even when he's missing, he's able to get up and down, and he's gaining strokes there. And I think he's going to be fairly quiet in terms of ownership. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are going to play Rory. A lot of people are going to play, your Paul Casey's, your Finals down there in the 9K range. So I think Hideki could be an interesting GPP play. I even like him in cash. The last guy I'm going to talk about is your boy Henrik Stenson at 8,900. Now, all right. Now here's Here's what I don't like about old Henrik. By the way, on Hideki, finished 5th at the PGA Championship in 2017. Loves this guy.
Okay.
Great history here. Henrik Stenson doesn't really hit the ball a long way because he doesn't like hitting his driver, so that's a problem. 115th over the last 24 rounds in strokes gained around the green. And just at 8,900, it's more of a value play for me. He's overpriced. I'm not saying Henrik Stenson's a bad player. I'm not saying he couldn't be a good fit here, but I don't like the value that he's giving you. I mean, he doesn't have a top 10 in 2019. His last top 10 was at the Hero, where he finished 4th out of 18 players.
Like what, okay? 18 players, yeah.
Out of 18 players. His previous top 10 since the Hero was in June at the U.S. Open. And at 8,900, I don't think you have to top 10, but I think arguably you have to come pretty close to kind of give you the value, right? Doesn't have a great history here whatsoever. And if you look at, he finished 13th at the PGA. That's the only good finish he's ever had here at Quail Hollow. At 8,900, it's just too much for me. I don't see enough form. This is a driver-heavy golf course. I don't see him hitting a lot of drivers. He's going to hit that 3-wood like he always does. I'm out.
Yeah, I was going to mention, by the way, that he did finish in the top 15 here in the PGA Championship. But here's the thing. Look, this is more of just a sort of a straight pivot play for me. A guy that nobody's really talking about, hasn't been in fantastic form at all, but when it comes to the stats, his game is coming around a little bit. It's coming around.
Very slowly. Very slowly.
It's slowly, but he's checking the box off the tee. He's second in the field in good drives game, which I mentioned earlier. 7th in greens in regulation. He's doing all the things that Stenson actually does well when he is in good form. So it's only a matter of time to me before actually the results come. You look at it, opportunities gained, which is scoring. He's given himself chances to score. Also checks a box in par 5 scoring, which we both like. You mentioned on the show, par 5 scoring is one of the things that we really like this week. So look, here's the thing. He's probably priced a little bit too high. But I like him here, especially from an ownership standpoint. I think nobody's going to want to play him. Patrick Reed, they got the guys like Jason Kokrak, Sungjae M, just beneath them. Your Lucas Glovers, all guys who have been just your DraftKings, DFS darlings this year. All are right there in this category. I think he's going to go overlooked, and I'm going to take advantage of that this week, and that is one of the reasons that I like some Stenson. I think he's going to be underowned. I think he's a guy that can certainly play well on this course and finish well. So that's the main reason that I like some old Hendrick.
Oh. All right, I kind of checked out there towards the end. I got to be honest. Let's talk a little DK Sportsbook. Let's get into some sportsbook plays. I've got a handful here that I kind of like. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I say this all the time, but I just need people to know I don't like betting the short guys in golf tournaments. Now,
you say that every single week. I feel like anybody that's listened to the show knows that that's what your thought is.
Well, maybe it's their first time. My problem, though, is Quail Hollow does tend to be a more difficult track on the PGA Tour. Therefore, the cream tends to rise to the top, except, you have had guys like James Hahn and Derek Ernst, who is like your local CPA. Those guys have won before, but
that's actually a good comparison because Ernst and Young is a CPA firm.
That's right. That's true.
Props on you. Good job.
That's the old cranium.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't have many guys that aren't long shots. So the only like real short guy that I have is Paul Casey at 33-1 as an outright winner. I like Paul Casey. I like the ball striking ability. I like the history here. 33-1. I'll take a little Paul Casey. Other than that, I love Keith Mitchell at 100-1. Great par 5 scorer, long hitter, bomber, aggressive young guy, can score on those par 5s. Checking all the boxes, in great form. Won at the Honda earlier in a tough field on a tough course. So I like Heath Mitchell. Little sneaky play here. Sung Kang, also 100 to 1. Another long hitter, takes advantage of the par fives, in good form. If James Hahn can win here, Sung Kang can win here. And then I do have a little top 10 bet. Adam Schenk is a top 10 bet. I also like him in DFS on DraftKings. He's around 60-something hundred. He's cheap. Adam Schenk at a top 10 bet at 20 to 1. 20 to 1 for Adam Schenk. He's quietly making a lot of cuts. Checks a lot of boxes in terms of par 5 scoring, iron play. Really liking the top 10 bet at 20 to 1 for Adam Schenk. So there you go. There's a short guy at Paul Casey, a couple long shots, and a top 10 bet out of DB. Now I saw you looking at your bald spot there. I guess you weren't paying attention.
I was not paying attention. But you know what? I agree. I don't like taking a lot of short guys, especially this week, where you have had some randoms win. But my shortest odd guy is actually a little bit shorter than yours, and that's Tony Finau at 20 to 1. I like that. Okay, with the sweater. Also, I like some Phil Mickelson at 28 to 1. You know what? He's a guy I'm not playing a whole lot in DraftKings, but I think I might throw a few shinkles, a few whatever
Shekels?
on
Shekels, Shinkles, like Adam Schenk. He has his own currency
on Phil Mickelson at 28 to 1. And then, the longer odds guys, I'm with you on Mitchell. Also like some Sam Burns at 100 to 1.
Ooh, I like Sam Burns play.
Some Rory Sabatini at 100 to 1. And then also I'll give you a top 10 bet that I like, and that's Hank Lebioda, top 10 at 18 to 1. I think that's a good bet. So there you go. That's pretty much all the bets that I have this week. And they're probably going to hit because I don't know. I've been pretty good with that.
I like the Lebioda play. I don't like Rory Sabatini. Can't trust the guy with wrist tattoos and bracelets. I just can't bet on that guy. All right, Pat. This has been a great Tour Junkies After Dark presented by DraftKings. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure and check out the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. And leave us a comment if you're female. We really want to know. If you're female and you watch this, we'd love to know that you're there and maybe why you watch it. Is it because of Pat's good looks? What is it for? What is it?
Probably not.
All right, there you go. May your screens be green on DraftKings. See ya!
Oh!